Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to Atlanta Grill Company. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to cook some Osso Buco man cave style. So let's get started. The star of our show today is these two beautiful pieces of Osso Buco. This is beef shank from Porter Road. These are dry aged, and what I'm going to do is, like I always do, I'm going to pre-season my meat. Today I'm going to use the Atlanta Grill Company Man Cave Meals AP Mojo, and we're just going to shake some of that on. I'm going to give it a fairly liberal shake of that seasoning, and I'm just going to pat that on. We're going to hit this on both sides. So I'm going to flip it, and then we'll get the back sides of these. And I'm going to put these in a vacuum seal bag, put them in the refrigerator overnight. If you don't have a vacuum sealer, just wrap them up tightly in plastic wrap and toss those back in the fridge. The first thing I'm going to do today is fire up the bark, and a 225 is going to be fine. We're going to let this guy warm up while we get everything else ready. Okay, while our bark's heating up, I'm going to set my brazier over the burner here and let this guy heat up. And after my pan gets hot, I'm going to squeeze in a little bit of oil that we're going to use to sear these shanks, and let that oil get nice and hot. And now that my oil is nice and hot, we're going to drop these guys in here and give them a quick sear on both sides. And after I've got a good sear on one side, I'm going to flip these guys over and get a little bit on the other side. Just about 3 or 4 minutes or so here. And the next step is I'm going to take these off the pan and set those aside. And I'm going to deglaze that pan with just a splash of bourbon. I'm just going to kind of use my wooden spoon here and scrape that fond up off the bottom of this pan. We don't want to lose any of that. And then I've got a chopped onion that we're going to toss in there, and we're going to just kind of saute this here until those onions start to become translucent. And after my onions start to become translucent, I've got about 2 cloves of garlic that I've chopped that we're going to stir into this for another minute or so. And after my garlic has become nice and fragrant, I'm just going to turn the heat off on this burner, and we're going to set our beef shanks back in here, and now this guy's ready to go to the smoker for a little while. My Myron Mixon bark is up to temperature. I got some nice smoke rolling here, so we're going to set that guy in there and let that beef absorb some smoke for about an hour. All right guys, we've been going for right at an hour here in the smoke, and I can definitely see that we've taken on some smoke color here. So what we're going to do now is move on to the next phase of this cook. I have a fresh sprig of rosemary that I'm going to stuff in there. I've got a few fresh sprigs of thyme that we're going to set in, and I've got a few fresh sage leaves. All of this is from my herb garden. I've got some beef stock that we're going to pour in here. I've got about 2 cups there of beef stock, and then I've got about a cup of Guinness beer that we're going to put into that, and we're going to finish this guy in a braise. And I'm going to put the lid on my brazier at this point, and I am going to run the temperature on the bark up to about 275, where we will finish for probably 3 to 4 more hours. Okay guys, we've been going right at about 3 hours here on this, and this stuff is pretty close to being done. It's not quite there, but man, it's really super tender. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to thicken that sauce up a bit by adding a little bit of a cornstarch slurry to this to let that ride in there for the remainder of this cook. And I'm just going to kind of give that a stir around. We don't want to turn this into a gravy. I just want to make a sauce out of it that's a little thicker than it is at the moment. So we'll put this back on here, and we're probably going to go in there for another 30 minutes or so. Okay guys, we've been here about 3.5 hours or so in this braise stage of this cook, and these shanks are ready. I'm going to and that sauce has thickened up nicely in there, so we're going to pull that off and we're going to build a plate with this. So we're going to plate some of this up, and what I've done off camera is I have made a batch of stone ground grits, and I didn't do that on camera, but I'm going to give you the recipe for how I made these in the video description here if you're interested in my technique on stone ground grits. So I'm going to lay a bed of these grits right in the bottom of this bowl, and then we're going to set on one of our shanks right on the top of those grits, and then I'm going to drizzle on a little bit of our sauce right on top of that. Man, that sauce came out absolutely perfectly. And then to finish this guy off, I'm going to, in the wind, try to shake on just a little bit of freshly chopped flat leaf parsley, guys. This is amazing. I can't wait to tear into this, so you guys are gonna have to give this a try. You can serve this over grits like I've done here, polenta. You can serve it over mashed potatoes. You could even serve this over risotto or rice or even pasta if you wanted to. So guys, give this a try and let me know what you think. Until next time, this is John Setzler with Atlanta Grill Company.